Hi, everybody. Sorry about the delay. My name's Lindsay, and I'm going to be leading you through a 45-minute vinyasa today. I recommend having a couple of blocks, although you won't need them, but they're there just to help you. And if you don't have blocks, you can find something else in your house to use. I will be using them quite a bit, and you'll also see me doing a lot of modifications just due to my pregnancy. And I want to say at any point in the practice today, if you want to throw in some arm balances or just take the postures a little bit deeper, feel free to. I just won't be demonstrating that today. So let's get started at the top of the mat. And we're just going to come right into a forward fold. We're going to be here for several breaths. Put a soft bend in your knees. And just take a moment to relax your shoulders, relax your head. Turn your head from side to side. And slow down your breath. While you're here, take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, and maybe even just gently sway from side to side, lean into your right foot, your left foot. You can bend and straighten your knees, shrug your shoulders. But take this time just to slow your breath down, deepen your breath, and just let gravity pull on your body. Just begin to open up the backs of your legs, the back of your neck, your shoulders, your low back. One more deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. On an inhale, slowly rise up. Stack your vertebra. Reach your arms out wide. Big stretch. Exhale. Bring your hands together. Then pull them down to your heart. And we'll begin just with sun salutations, but we will change these up a little bit from our traditional ones. On an inhale, reach your arms up. Take a tilt back, breathe in. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen your spine. And exhale, plant your hands, step both feet back, come into a high plank or to your knees. We're going to take one push up here. And then exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale, straighten your legs behind you, find cobra or upward dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward dog. And just begin to walk this out. Take a few deep breaths here. We'll take a slow walk to the top of the mat. So just one step at a time. So you feel this through the backs of your legs. And shift your weight back into gently open up your hamstrings. Eventually come into a forward fold. Hug yourself in. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Reach your arms up. On the exhale, bring your hands behind you to take a bind. Intertwine your fingers. Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Take a back bend here. Widen your collarbones. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, begin to forward fold. Take a few deep breaths. And try to bring your hands a little bit closer to the ground, even if it's just a centimeter or so. Straighten your arms. Put a soft bend in your left knee and rotate your chest to the right and pull your arms down just to really stretch your right shoulder open. And then switch sides. Put a bend in your right knee, rotate to the left. Exhale, forward fold, release your hands. Inhale, lift halfway up, lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, step both feet back. We're gonna take 3 push-ups here. Keep your elbows back. Just lower halfway down. And then push yourself up. And after the 3 yogi push-ups, come down onto your belly, find cobra or upward dog. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward dog. At least 3 deep breaths here. Gently press your heels down towards the earth as you tilt your tailbone up, lengthen out your spine. Push the ground away from you, and then on an exhale, step, walk, or jump. Your feet to the top of the mat, please. Forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Arms up. This time, bend your left elbow, grab onto your left elbow. We're gonna take a side bend. Pull your belly button back towards your spine, root down through your feet. Exhale, side bend to the right. Gently push your left hip out to the left. And even tug on your arm a little bit, just to get into your arm and your, just the left side of your body. Let that open up. Inhale, come back up through center. Left hand comes to your right elbow. Exhale, side bend to the left. Gently push your hips to the right. Take some deep breaths into your right lung. Root down through your feet. Lengthen out through your right side body. And inhale, come back up through center. Release your hands. Swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step both feet back. 5 yogi push-ups. Of course, you can do more. If you go slower, you're going to feel this a little bit more. And as you come down, push the ground away from you. Even though you're bending your elbows back, push the ground away from you. After your 5th push-up, come down onto your belly. Straighten your legs behind you. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Downward dog. Just a few breaths here. Move around in this. Wag your tail. Stretch out your hips, bend your knees. And just explore, through this practice. Search for the parts of your body that need to be opened. Search for the parts of your body that want to breathe a little bit better. And just allow yourself to break out of our usual linear movements that we do throughout the day. Let's find a tabletop pose. And from tabletop, extend your right arm out in front of you, your left leg behind you. Rotate your toes down, so lift your left inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Strong back leg. Reach your right arm forward. Plug your arm into your shoulder socket. Plug your leg into your hip socket. On an exhale, we're going to tap 3 times, elbow to knee. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, open. Exhale, tap. Inhale, open. Exhale, tap. Inhale, open. Keep that left leg lifted, but lower your right hand down. Tuck your toes, straighten your right leg, 3-limb down dog. Lift that left leg up high. On an exhale, tap your left knee to your right elbow and then slide it through for fallen triangle. Lift your hips up, push the ground away from you, reach your right arm up, lengthen out, turn your chest towards the ceiling. Then exhale, lower your right hand down, lift up your left leg, stretch it back behind you. 3-limb down dog. And now bend your left knee, open up your hip. Make some movements here. Circle your hip, your knee, your ankle. And feel free to drop back into wild things. So if you want to keep going, lightly drop your left foot down. And lift your hips up. Take a little back bend. You can move in this. You can move back and forth between a 3-limb down dog and wild thing. You'll have a few breaths here just to play around in this. And then we will meet back up in a 3-limb down dog. Lift that left leg up high, really engage your left glute here. And on an exhale, lightly step your left foot up between both hands. Come down onto your right knee. I'm going to grab my blocks here. We're going to take a supported crescent lunge just to open up our right hip. So let your hips come forward. And maybe move in this a few times, just to help warm up your hips. Just move your hips front to back. And then eventually, just let your hips settle down. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. Feel free to bring your arms up. Take a little back bend. Just for a few breaths here, lift up through your chest. Let your hips get heavy. And if you want the support of the blocks, bring them by your sides. And just feel your upper body lift, your lower body kind of sink and drop. But continue to engage your belly, lift up through your pelvic floor, protect your low back. And then lift up your hips, shift back. We're going to come into a quarter splits pose. So flex your left foot. And take a moment to square your hips, pull your left hip back, lengthen out your spine, and gently begin to forward fold over your left leg. Try to do this with a long spine and flare your tailbone towards the wall behind you. So the aim is to feel this in our hamstring, maybe even the calf as well. Walk your hands back up. We're going to keep the left leg straight, but externally rotate from the hip. So now just roll your left foot out. But the movement is happening from your thigh. And this is just to get into the outer part of the hamstring, even the hip a little bit. So same thing, gently press your chest forward. If you want to intensify this, begin to forward fold. Keep flexing your foot, keep rotating it outward. One more breath. And then lift yourself up, turn your toes back. Place your foot on the ground, shift your weight forward. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Reach your right arm up. Now just rotate open. And use your left arm to gently push your left knee open and stretch up through your right fingertips. Lengthen out. Let your hips get heavy. And exhale, lower your hands down. One more time, straighten your left leg, flex your foot, and bring your right hand either to your foot or a block. Keep your hips square and pull your left hip back and just rotate your chest towards the left. And press your hand into whatever it's touching. Keep your hips really strong here. Hugging towards the midline of the body and just twist. You can even reach your left arm back if you want. Keep your hand on your body for a little more stability. One more breath here. Come back through center. Shift your weight forward. Find a low lunge here. Take a nice big step up to the top of the mat. Let's come into a yogi squat. So step your feet apart, knees out, bring your hands together, thumbs in towards the center of your heart. It's okay if your heels don't touch the ground, that doesn't really matter. Just use your elbows to gently push your knees apart if they're connected. Let your sacrum, your hips get heavy, stretch up through the crown of the head, and just sit into your hips. Maybe even gently rock from side to side a little bit. And just allow your hips to relax here, just for a few breaths. On an exhale, plant your hands down. Step both feet back. Take a Chaturanga Dandasana if you'd like. We'll meet in a downward dog. Just for a few breaths. Walk this out. And come back to your hands and your knees. Bring your wrists underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. Extend your right leg back behind you, and again, find a nice internal rotation. So the tips of your toes are facing down towards your mat, hugging towards the midline of your body, just for stability, and reach your left arm forward. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. Notice the parts of your body that are touching the mat, press into those places. As you exhale, bring your elbow and your knee together. Inhale, open back up. Exhale, tap. Inhale, open. Exhale, tap. Inhale, open. Lower your left hand down. Tuck the toes of your left foot. Press right up into a 3-limb down dog. Stretch your right leg up high. On your exhale, tap your your right knee to your left elbow. Slide it under. Pivot and plant your back foot. Reach your left arm up. Rotate your chest towards the sky. Really open up into this. Lower your left hand down, lift your right leg up, 3-limb down dog. Bend your right knee and explore here. Just feel the different ways your joints can move, and your feet, your knees, your hip. And then if you'd like to drop back into Wild Thing, keep opening up. Drop your right foot back. Reach your arm towards the wall behind you, and even move in this if you'd like. Wherever you are in it, make sure that you are connected to your deep breathing. And then we'll meet in a 3-limb down dog. Really engage your right glute hamstring, lift the right leg up, and then lightly step your right foot up between both hands. Come down onto your left knee. Find a supported crescent lunge. And just rock a little bit. Let your hips warm up to this. And then just hold it. Bring your shoulders over your hips. And just let the center of your body drop down towards the mat. Lift up through the crown of your head. And imagine your breath going to the front of your left hip. You can reach your arms up. Pull your belly button back towards your spine. Even engage your left glute, your left butt cheek. This will signal the front of your left hip, your hip flexors, to open up. And then make your way into a quarter splits pose. Carefully lift up your hips, straighten your front leg, and flex your foot. So just by flexing your foot, you're going to intensify the stretch. Then begin to lengthen out your spine, tilt your tailbone back. Think about just leaning forward with your chest. So it's not a forward fold like this, it's more just a nice extension of the spine. And then begin to fold. Take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, lift yourself up and rotate. Externally rotate from the thigh. So the top of your thigh should be rolling to the right. And you could see that in your foot. And then same thing, gently tilt your tailbone back, stretch your chest forward. To intensify this, begin to forward fold. Three more deep breaths. And then slowly lift yourself up. Plant your right foot back down. Find a supported lunge here. Right hand comes to the inside of your right foot. Wave your left arm open. Twist. And find the bind, your arm against your leg. Press those body parts together and just turn your chest to the left. Stretch your left arm up. And exhale, lower your hand down. Come back into a quarter splits pose. Straighten your right leg. And bring your left hand either to your foot or maybe to a block. Square your hips, hugging towards the midline of your body, and rotate your chest towards the right. Try to stack your shoulders, widen your collarbones, and hug your inner thighs towards each other, just to help stabilize your body. One more breath. And then exhale, turn towards the front. Come into a low lunge here, just to transition up into a wide-legged chair pose. So bend your knees and bring your arms up. And this time, with this one, let's bring our chest forward a little bit. So it's like our upper body is almost at a diagonal, and bend your knees. Try to line your knees up over your ankles and sit back. Really activate your glutes and your thighs here. So we'll be here for a few breaths. Stay here, or if you'd like to take this deeper, begin to lift your heels up. It's okay if you're a little shaky. Your body is just reorienting itself, getting stronger. Try to lift your biceps up by your face or your ears a little bit more. Turn on your upper back, pull your belly button back toward your spine. 3 more breaths. And then exhale, lower your heels down, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Let's sit down into a Yogi Squat. Just to take a moment here, settle into your hips. And then just make your way onto your back. And we're just going to do a little bit of an abdominal flow here, just to warm up from the inside out even more. So come onto your back. Now, if you have a particular flow that you like to take, abdominal exercises, crunches or whatever, go ahead and do that. I'm just going to do some basic ones. I'm going to start with bicycles. So bring your right knee up. And on an exhale, bring your left elbow to your right knee and extend your left leg out long. And then just rotate. So as you do this, pull your belly button back towards your spine, like you're scooping out your low belly. Try to get your shoulder blades up off the ground. And then I encourage you to change the pace of this. So maybe start building momentum, get a little bit faster. I'm probably going to keep it pretty slow. Or you can move at a much slower speed. Either way, it's going to challenge you in different ways. Take 5 more on each side. If you're going at my pace. And the next time you bring your left elbow to your right knee, just hold and hold. Lift up and lift up a little bit more. Try to get your shoulder blades off the ground. Stay as lifted as much as possible. Bring your left knee into your chest. Crunch up and then rotate to the left. Extend your right leg out and just hold. Keep lifting. Engage your core. Lift up. Left shoulder blade off the mat as much as possible. And then bring both knees and elbows back. And relax. You're back on the ground. And just take a couple deep breaths here. Make some circles with your knees. Go in both directions. And then for the next one, straighten both legs up towards the ceiling. And bring your hands either Down by your side, palms face down. I like the support of having them underneath my hips. And lower your right leg down a few inches and then switch. So more than a few inches, it's just a few inches off the mat. So if you would like to intensify this and bring your upper abs to the party, then lift up, maybe even take your hands off the ground. So many variations to bring more heat and challenge. Just keep your belly button scooping back to your spine. You can also put a soft bend in your knees if you find that this bothers your low back. And again, same thing. If you want to challenge yourself, go a little bit faster. We've got 10 more breaths here. Five more breaths. And then bring your knees into your chest. And take a few deep breaths. Relax your belly. And let's roll. So begin to gently rock front to back, massage your spine. And we will meet in a chair pose at the top of the mat. So maybe you can just roll on up or stand on up, however you want to get there. Bend your knees, drop your hips, arms up, just for a few moments here. And lower your hips a little bit more, roll your shoulder blades down your spine. And then bring your hands to your outer knees, your outer thighs. And just for a moment, more than a moment, maybe about 5 moments, push your knees apart against your hands. So you're feeling this through your glutes. Push your knees apart, your hands aren't letting them. Push. Drop down into this. This action should come from your glutes. One more breath. Good. Bring your hands to your heart. Shift your weight into your right foot. Lift your left leg up and lightly step it back. We'll come into a high lunge. High lunge. Right hip back, left hip forward. And try to straighten your back leg. Imagine your thigh is pressing up towards the ceiling as much as possible. So move it in that direction. Lift up through your chest. And then on an exhale, open this up to a warrior two. So go a little bit longer in your mat and just let your hips kind of drop down into this. Maybe right thigh is parallel to the ground. And in this warrior two, bring your arms out to a T, but we're going to make the stop motion with our hands. So when you do this, straighten your arms as much as you can and really press out through the heel of your hands and pull your fingers back. So this is really good for the fascia in your wrists, your hands, your arms. This is also good for the energy lines. Keep your right knee bent. Push the heels of your hands forward. Pull your fingers back. 3 more breaths. It might feel like almost a burning sensation. That's okay. Just bringing more blood to the areas. 1 more breath. And then release your wrist. Straighten your right leg. Take an inhale, and then as you exhale, make your way into triangle pose. Side bend to the right. Option to use a block here. So in triangle pose, just kind of soften the left side of your body. Lengthen out. Firm up your thighs. Stretch your left arm up. And without moving your feet, pull your feet towards each other. Take a few deep breaths here, please. Take the time in these poses to smooth out your breath. And put a soft bend in your knee and make your way into a half moon pose. So flying triangle, just shift your weight forward. Your left leg out is behind you, long and strong. Stack your left hip on top of your right and reach your left arm up. You want to challenge yourself, turn your gaze up towards your left hand. 2 more breaths. And then on an exhale, lower your hands down, square your hips. Left leg stays lifted, standing splits. So take the time here to walk your hands back towards your right foot. Bring your forehead a little bit closer to your right shin. Lift that left leg up. It's okay if it's not high, your left leg isn't high, but keep it active. So try not to just let it dangle. Long and strong. Use your glutes and your hamstring to lift it up. Then we're going to do 3 curtsy bows. So on an exhale, bend your right knee as deeply as you can. Really go deep and tap your left knee somewhere to the back of your right calf. And then straighten your left leg up. 2 more times. Exhale, tap. Go low. Slowly straighten both legs. Press into your right foot for that. 1 more time. Exhale, tap. Inhale, open. And then lower your left foot down. We're going to set up for a pyramid pose. So there's maybe a couple feet between your feet. Depends on how long your legs are. And take a moment to square off your hips. I'm going to use my blocks here. Lengthen out your spine. This could be plenty of a stretch for you to intensify it. Exhale, forward fold. If your hands easily touch the mat, perhaps you want to walk your hands back. Turn your fingertips towards the back of your mat and forward fold. So many variations of this. Three more deep breaths. And bring your hands into your hips. Really drive down through your right foot. Activate your right glute to lift yourself up. Well, shift your weight forward. Come into dancer's pose. So you can just step right up onto your right foot. Bend your left knee back behind you. Right arm comes up. And to take this deeper, begin to lean forward and kick back. Square your shoulders and your hips. Sorry, I'm getting a cramp. And focus on something that is not moving. And then on an inhale, slowly rise up. And we will meet in Tadasana. Bring your left foot down to meet your right. Hands by your side. And just take a moment to find your equal balance through both feet. And slow down your breath. Just recenter yourself in this shape and with your breathing. If your eyes are closed, softly blink them open. And inhale, bend your knees. Drop your hips, spine chair pose. Roll your shoulder blades down your spine. Pull your belly button back. Lift up through your chest. This time, bring your hands to the insides of your knees. So open up your knees a little bit. And try to squeeze your knees together. And your hands are resisting that. So this is for your inner thighs. Pelvic floor, pull your belly button back towards your spine. You may not feel quite as strong as you did by having your hands on the outsides of your knees. That's okay. We're working with a different muscle group here. One more deep breath. Squeeze in, and then resist that. Good. Release your hands. Begin to shift your weight into your left foot. Lift your right leg up and step it back. Come into a high lunge on the left side. So take a moment to find your alignment. Reach your arms up. Shoulders over your hips. Put a nice bend in your left knee. But straighten your back leg as much as you can. Lift your chest up towards the ceiling. And breathe. And on an exhale, open this up to a warrior two. So find your alignment with your feet. Don't be afraid to take up a lot of space on the mat. And bend your left knee. Reach your arms up. Now we're going to rotate our palms up towards the ceiling, but do this from our shoulders. So it's not just, the movement isn't just happening from the wrists, it's happening from our shoulders. And we're going to go back and forth. And just find your full range here. You're just lubricating your joints. Opening and closing. And all the while keeping a strong lower body. Bend that left knee. Good. And then bring your arms back to a T. Take one more breath here. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, reach towards the front. Make your way into a triangle pose. So connect with your 5 lines of energy. Right foot, left foot. Right leg, left leg, right arm, left arm, and then the whole central axis of your body. Equally strong and awake and active. Everything's working here. A few more breaths. And then on an exhale, bend your left knee. Shift your weight forward, come right into a Halfmoon Pose, please. So take a moment to, I like to bring my hands to my body just to feel where I am. Stack your right hip on top of your left. Try to straighten your back leg. Maybe lift it so it's kind of parallel to the ground. And reach your arm up. Of course, if there are variations you want to take of this, go ahead. 2 more breaths. Focus your mind to keep you steady. And then on an exhale, square off your hips and make your way into a standing split. Right leg long and strong behind you. Walk your hands a little bit closer to your feet. Maybe even take the bind around your ankle. Bring your forehead a little bit closer to your shin. And then we're going to take 3 deep curtsy bows. So exhale, bend your left knee as much as you can. Explore that. See how low you can go. And then push off into your left foot to straighten both legs. Exhale, deep, slow. Sink down into this and then stretch up. One more time. Lift. Good. Just for a breath here, straighten that right leg up. And then carefully set your right foot back. Come into a pyramid pose. So the fronts of your hips are equally facing towards the front of your mat. At least that's the direction we're going. And take a moment to lengthen out your spine. Flare your tailbone back. Pull your belly button back towards your spine to intensify this exhale forward fold. If your hands easily come down, then bring them to the mat and actually use your hands to help guide you a little bit deeper into this. Firm up your thighs and just take another long, slow, deep breath. Anytime your head is below your heart, try to slow down your breath. And then bring your hands into your hips. Get very active through this left leg. to lift yourself up. Use your glutes. We will shift forward and find dancer's pose. Bend your right knee behind you. Grab onto the inside of your right foot. Your left arm comes up. So start with this. If you need to study yourself here for a while before you take it deeper, then do that. Just find a gazeless gaze in your eyes and focus. And we'll meet in Tadasana. And feel free to close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths. Inhale, reach your arms up, take a tilt back. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your hands, step both feet back. Option to take your chaturanga dandasana. And pass through a downward dog. And then come to your hands and your knees and just do some really kind of open, intuitive movement. So cat-cow. Just move freely. Maybe you want to take barrel rolls, wag your tail. A few deep breaths here. Then bring your right knee up towards your right wrist and walk yourself back into your pigeon pose. If it bothers you to have your legs straight, if that feels like it's too much, you can bend your left knee back behind you. In pigeon pose, I like to forward fold in different directions because I feel it more in my hip. So you can just forward fold directly down the center. Or if you want to copy what I'm doing, forward fold over to the left. So you're almost leaning over your right foot more. So I feel this more in my hip when I do it. And just slow your breath down. We're only here for a few cycles of breath. So really just be in the shape while you're here. And then on an inhale, lift yourself up. And shift your weight onto your right hip. Your right knee is still bent. So your right foot is pulled in close to you. Reach your right arm up and exhale, side bend to the left. So make sure that your right sitting bone is on the ground. Sometimes there's a tendency to let our hips come up. Stay rooted through your sits bones and just reach and lengthen. So you're really opening up the space through this right side of your body. Reach a little bit more. Maybe you can even grab onto your toes. And then lift yourself up. Your right hand comes behind you to create a second spine. Left hand comes to your knee. And keep your hips forward. So you're not letting your hips come up. Hips stable and forward. Twist from the heart, from your belly button up. Just for a few breaths, really roll your right shoulder open. And then turn towards the top of the mat. Slide your left knee up, pigeon pose. So find your alignment in pigeon. And forward fold for about 5 slow, deep breaths. And on an inhale, lift yourself up and shift your weight into your hips. Open yourself up and side bend to the right. Press down through your left sitting bone and just reach. Inhale, come back up through center. Bring your left hand behind you. Lengthen out your spine. Your right hand comes to your left knee and twist. Rotate into this, but keep your hips glued to the mat. You might not be able to twist as much, but that's okay. That's not the aim. The aim is to really focus on what's happening through your shoulders and your mid and upper spine. One more deep breath here. And then untwist and bring your legs in front of you and make your way onto your mat for a few minutes of rest. So if you would like to find Shavasana, or perhaps you would like to take just a final restorative posture, just follow your body's lead on this. And take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just notice the different sensations in your body. Notice where it feels dense and heavy or light and tingly. And just let your eyes get soft. Let your lids get heavy. And let the rhythms of your body slow down. Your pulse, your heartbeat, your breath. And feel free to stay here for as long as you'd like. I recommend at least 5 minutes. Thank you so much for joining today in a 45-minute Vinyasa flow. It was a pleasure to lead you. Namaste.